After days of massive losses on Wall Street, the main indices surged Wednesday. The Dow Jones closing over 7% higher, the S&P 500 over 9% up, and the Nasdaq Composite over 12% in the green. After the White House paused for most countries at a broad 10% tariff rate, except for China, as the focus now shifts to bilateral negotiations.
The pause was based on good faith conversation. I was on a call with the president of Switzerland yesterday morning that was incredibly congenial. And USTR has informed us that there are maybe 15 countries now that have made explicit offers that we're studying and considering and, deciding whether they're good enough to present to the president. And we're setting up with the Chief of Staff's office a very orderly process to prioritize countries and to make sure that the countries that are most important for getting this to the finish line are the countries that we bring in first. We could do negotiations a number of ways. We would expect that there'll be quite a bit of movement of world leaders into the White House in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
The European Union Commission also announced a pause to its countermeasures announced Wednesday, signalling it would give negotiations a chance.
We are not going to offer any greater detail at this point about what we are or are not saying to the Americans beyond what we have already said. We want to negotiate. We want to talk. We appreciate that you have brought this pause on so-called reciprocal tariffs, and we in turn are now pausing our proposed countermeasures in order that we have the maximum space to consult with our member states, consult with our industry, and negotiate with the US. We're ready to make deals. Let's talk.
As the economic conflict between Washington and Beijing continues to weigh on the world economy and imperiling a $582 billion trade relationship.
China's position is clear and consistent. The door to talks is open, but dialogue must be conducted on an equal basis with mutual respect. China will stand by its position until the end. Pressuring, threatening, and blackmailing are not the correct ways to deal with China. We hope that the U.S. will work with China based on the principles of mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and a win-win cooperation. We will properly resolve differences through dialogue and consultation.
As uncertainty continues to shape the path ahead, even as bilateral negotiations of the White House kick into high gear.
No, we are in the midst of a trade war. Now the new reciprocal tariffs have been taken back, but there is a universal tax of 10% for every country. That's still intact, and that's still a multitude stronger than what we have seen in the first trade war that he had in his first presidency. So it's still a big risk. It's still a big risk that the negotiations will not be successful, and that volatility is something that is going to stay with the markets.
As Democratic senators are beginning to raise concerns about whether the administration engaged in insider trading or other potentially illegal transactions, after this social media post on Wednesday morning from President Trump saying this is a great time to buy, ahead of his surprise pause later in the day that saw the market surge dramatically.
Right before Donald Trump declared that some of his tariffs were off again, he sent out a message to his billionaire buddies. He posted, "This is a great time to buy," in all caps. Was that market manipulation? Was it corruption in plain sight? We need an independent investigation into market manipulation because Americans need to know whether President Trump or anyone in his administration manipulated the market to benefit their donors, all while they are working for the American people and while small businesses and those working families are paying a price. It's a disaster.
As the tariff roller coaster continues to dominate the narrative globally, South Africa finds itself in a basket of countries that will now endure a 10% tariff rate on all exports into the United States, down from a whopping 31%. As Pretoria is expected to line up for negotiations with Washington, discussions that will aim to achieve a mutually beneficial deal for both sides. In a complex political environment that continues to permeate the relationship. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.